First of all, congrats on the win on Friday. A tough one. How do you carry that momentum going into this Friday night home opener, Los Gatos, which we'll get into in a second, but you were mentioning to me it was kind of like a rough first game, although you got the win. How do you carry that going to Friday night?
It was huge, so going into on the road to Frontier, defending state championship team, to go into that environment for a first game, that's almost like a playoff-like game, week one. So we struggled a little bit, dealt with some nerves, overcame the adversity. Our defense played great, and we found a way to win the football game. So that momentum is going to carry us into this week. Los Gatos is another very well-coached football team. It's going to be fun, our home opener, another great environment, and another playoff-like atmosphere. So we're just taking that same mentality, that same approach, taking every single day of practice this week to make sure that we practice at the intensity that's going to come Friday night.
Is it kind of a plus considering the fact you guys defeated the defending state champs at their house, especially to kind of kick off the season?
Yeah, can't lie. That's a big ask. It's a great program. A lot of talented football players, on that team, and to go down there and be able to do that spoke volumes of what this team's potential could be this season.
At the same time, is it kind of a little bit of redemption when you kind of look at last year? You defeat them, you defeat Amador. O'Dowd was kind of what it was. Both of them go to the state. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it a little bit of redemption? The fact that you maybe proving to yourselves, okay, we could have maybe.
Yeah, it's nice to say those things. Definitely last year when we didn't make it past O'Dowd and those two teams, Amador and Frontier, went to the state championship. We felt it more then because we believe that should be our state championship game. But we didn't get the job done when it mattered, and that's our fault. It's no one else's fault. So we take ownership of that, and we move forward into this season. We locked in Frontier again. A huge challenge for us week one. We're able to pass that challenge, and Los Gatos is another challenge right around this corner.
Going into week two against Los Gatos at home opener. This has been in a way, it's kind of a rivalry, the start of maybe a rivalry between both programs. Both been very, very contested matchups. Granted, you guys kind of fell short in the last two. Going to this one, talk about just the matchup going to this one. How much is this kind of, you kind of hoping third time's the charm, so to say?
Well, it's not so much third time the charm. It's that we've been playing them every time I've been here, so this will be the fourth time.
Okay.
And even before I got here, they had them on the schedule. We've never been able to come away with the win against Los Gatos. And every single year, we know exactly what kind of team they are and what they're about. So it's kind of like a measuring stick. It's kind of like, do we come up to that kind of standard of football? And that's a test, especially so early in the season with how well coached they are. How well they play football as a team. You really got to be on your A game. You can't make any mistakes, otherwise they'll make you pay. So it's almost like one of those things, it measures you at that moment to see if you are ready to play a playoff-like team that early in the season.
With that said, you've had them the last several years. Does this feel like, your non-conference schedule has been very tough throughout, right? Does this feel like the pivotal game in the non-conference half of the schedule to, okay, this is where we are, and then now we know where we're going to be, kind of, especially, going through the rest of the non-conference and league? Would that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. In a lot of ways that's kind of how it played out. Whether it's been a tight contest with Los Gatos or, it wasn't that great of a game for us and they beat us pretty soundly. We learned a lot about ourselves, about this team, and it's usually this game that we kind of rebound and bounce back from and really start to pick up momentum going into the rest of preseason and setting us up for league. You
mentioned you kind of see where you are after this kind of matchup. What do you take from last year's matchup? I know it's two different teams, but what do you take from the matchup last year going to this one this time around? Because last time, especially at home, you guys were up 20 and kind of blew it. Last year they kind of got you. They kind of beat you guys pretty handily at their house. What do you take from you guys going into this matchup, going to this one Friday night?
Yeah, well, home field advantage is a real thing. Going down to Los Gatos, they're a very tough team. And we haven't done well when we traveled there. And when they come here, it's a little bit different as well. We talked about that game 2 years ago when we were up. In a lot of ways we had them and allowed them to find a way to come back to win the game at the end. So you take all of that into consideration so that going into this game, every quarter matters, every score matters, every play matters. And no matter what the score is, if we're up or down, the game's not over till it's over. Especially against a team of this caliber.
How much did the one 2 years ago kind of linger? And I asked that because, yeah, it's at home again, but you mentioned you guys have never beaten Los Gatos. Mm-hmm. Y'all were there, right? Really, probably minutes away, and it kind of slipped out. How much of that has lingered, and how much of that has kind of been the message of the team this week, where you had a strong start in Bakersfield, but now you're kind of going to a team you want to kind of finish through. You get that?
Well, it's about finish, and that's become really a focal point of what we're trying to do. One of our core values as a football program is talking about it's not how you start the game, it's how you end the game. You know, it's the last 6 inches of any given football play, how you finish every single play. And that, you know, we learned that from that game. You know, we were up, we were not able to put the game away when we needed to, and it came back to hurt us, you know. So learning experience, and now we take that in and, you know, make it part of who we are to make sure that no matter what the score is, we put emphasis on finishing that job.
We talked about how experienced the defense is going into this season. They really showed that at Frontier, allowing just 7 points. How big was that for you to kind of see them get off to that kind of start, just holding a state championship team to 7 points?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of potential for this defense all off season. Everyone's been really hyped to see what they're going to do on the field. So we expected it, but it was nice confirmation to kind of see what we're really capable of. You know, we're very strong defensive-wise. We held the run in check, you know, held the passing game in check. You know, and that defense really kept us in the game, you know, to allow us to find momentum late to come back to pull away with the victory.
Offensively, you were saying the offense kind of struggled for a little bit throughout. Quarterback is definitely, it seems like it's going to be an adventure for you guys this season. Xander started kind of struggled. Robert came in, kind of brought it back down, kind of got it settled a little bit. Rotating quarterbacks, is that kind of a thing you hope to do? You kind of looking to do this season, or is that something where it was like it was in Bakersfield, and then you're trying to kind of see as you go?
I mean, to be honest with you, all offseason it's been a quarterback battle. You know, it's going back and forth, and we're trying to wait to see who is going to take that, you know, starting job. You know, but it's been neck and neck. You know, a lot of times Xander's been looking like the guy, and sometimes Robert's been looking like the guy. You know, it's kind of gone back and forth, and it was really up until our scrimmage, it was 50-50, you know. Xander was looking a little bit better at the time, so we went with him. In the game, when he started to struggle a little bit, we put Robert in to try to get a spark to get our offense going, and we found something. You know, so he was able to finish the game strong, you know. But we believe in both these kids. They're great kids. They bring a lot to what this football team has, and, you know, we have confidence in what they can do going forward. So at this point, we're going to ride the hot hand.
So with that said, is Robert expected to start on Friday? Is that the idea, considering how we finished in Bakersfield?
Yeah, so he's got the edge right now. So he's in line to start the game. You know, but Xander's right there. You know, at any given moment, you know, he could step in. You know, it could be in the similar situation in which we're struggling. We need that spark. You know, bring in a quarterback, you know, to be able to get some first downs and get some momentum. That could be a game changer for us.
Would you say having two that are kind of ready to go like that is kind of a good problem to have? I mean, granted, they're both young, so it's kind of almost like a balance, right? You have two quarterbacks ready to go, but they're both very young and inexperienced. Is that a good problem to have, or is it something where you're kind of like sitting on the edge of your seat every time?
Well, I mean, yeah, you'd like to have that experienced quarterback that you know is just going to lock in for the game and be solid. You know, we have two young quarterbacks, like you said, so there's going to be some growing pains with that. It's mostly nerves and confidence. So as the season goes along and they both get more experience, you know, those things are going to, you know, kind of come to you know, they're going to come at ease a bit and be able to do what they do more efficiently, more consistently. You know, but to have them both competing, it's been good, you know, to have a true quarterback competition, to have them push each other to see who's going to take this.
Home opener on Friday. You guys had a 4.5 hour drive on the road last week to be able to kind of be at home for this one. How big is that feel?
It's huge. We love playing here. You know, it's our home opener. We know we always have a good turnout for first game of the season, and we love defending this turf. You know, so we're looking forward to that. We're looking for the home field advantage, everything that brings to welcome Los Gatos and have one heck of a football game.
Congratulations, first varsity action last week. Coach mentioned it was kind of a little bit of a struggle. You came in and kind of helped settle the ship offensively, so to say. Talk about just because that was your first varsity action as well. Just talk about just that kind of moment for you.
I mean, it was pretty good. I got in with like 3 minutes in the second half, so I mean, I was ready to throw it. We came out hot. We were throwing deep balls like the whole time. And we got to the one, you know, just had Jackson Bell punching in. It's pretty good.
Getting your first varsity action against the defending state champ, defending the D3AA state champs. Just talk about what that was like for you. I mean, that kind of stepping on the field like that.
I mean, I wasn't looking at it like that at all. I was just prepared to watch film, see what they gave me.
How big of a win was that for you guys, kind of going into this Friday night and into the home opener?
I'd say it was a pretty big win. I mean, gave us confidence. We're just keep building off that.
Los Gatos is a team that Liberty's kind of, I don't say struggle, but it's almost been kind of like the hump that the program hasn't gotten over in the last couple of years. What does this week mean for you guys? Home opener, Los Gatos, it's kind of a rivalry in a sense, one sided at the moment. What does Friday night mean for you guys?
I mean, we're practicing right now. We're, giving it our best effort. Just staying hot, ready for the game. It's going to be a good one.
Coach has you kind of in line to start Friday night.
Yeah.
It'll be your first career start. What does it mean for you to kind of get that at home, the home opener? You guys want to know in this kind of matchup.
I mean, I just want to lead my team, do what's best for the team, have my fans here, looking them. But it's going to be great.